Hey guys, Willows here. Before you start listening to the podcast, I just want to let you know what's going on with the audio today. We had MistaGG obviously Skype in or video call in, and we were originally going to get him to record his own audio and then send it to me so we could have a cleaner audio. But there was a miscommunication. I didn't remind him, and then he didn't record his audio. So the audio you're hearing from MistaGG's side is straight like off our video call. So the quality definitely is a little bit less, but yeah, it's it is what it is. So that's the reason. Especially if you're listening on Spotify or any other streaming service, you're definitely going to hear a difference in quality on his side. But we do have a video on our YouTube channel. Just search Alcohol Beyond This Point podcast on YouTube. I think it's on my channel, Vote Willows, and you can see his face and everything, and then it'll make the audio might make more sense. Anyway, hope you enjoy. It's really good content here, and thanks for understanding. So enjoy the podcast. Herodotus, the Greek historian, reported that the ancient Persians tended to deliberate on important matters while they were drunk. Then they would reconsider the decisions the following day when they were sober. If it happened that the first deliberation took place when they were sober, they would always reconsider the matter under influence of wine. If the decision was approved both drunk and sober, the decision held. If not, the Persians set it aside. My name is Willows.
And my name is Tyler.
And we're both young business guys who still adhere to this ancient traditions. Join us as we debate and discuss business topics, moves we're making, politics, YouTube, and more, both sober and then drunk, to see if we come to the same conclusions. This is Alcohol Beyond This Point. And today we have our first guest. Actually, we wanted to put off guests for a long time, but when the opportunity arises, you can't give it up. So we have MistaGG on the podcast today. Welcome, buddy.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, of course. I've been a fan of yours for a long time. Tyler has no idea who you are. I sent him a few videos earlier this week for him to watch, and then he got here today, and I said, "Hey, did you watch his videos?" He's like, "No." So I put on a couple. I put on one of the Predator Chronicles, and then I put on one of the bad content pongs, just so we could see kind of your personality and what you're doing. But I started watching probably a year or two ago. I'm a big like YMS fan, so you were in my recommended for like one of your movie reviews. I think probably the Steven Seagal one I think was what I watched firstly, and then I ended up binge watching every single Predator Chronicle that was out at the time. So I'm a fan. So this happened just by you. We're both on quarantine right now. For context, it's COVID-19 pandemic, and you tweeted how you are locked down and want to go on people's podcasts, and I kind of shot my shot, and here we are.
Yes, I am here. Thank you for supporting the content. First off, yeah, I just wanted to run like a podcast gauntlet, so here we are. You said I got a booze, huh?
Yeah, so we're drinking my wine. I own a winery in central Canada.
Oh, very nice.
So we make lots of different fruit wines, grape wine, sangria, mead, cider, different things like that. So today we've started with our raspberry wine. That's what we're drinking first, and then we have a bottle of sangria, and we have a bottle of cider here as well that we may or may not crack.
We'll see what we get through.
We'll see what we get through. And are you drinking today?
What if my alcohol choice isn't as classy as your guys? Can I get away with that?
There is no wrong alcohol.
We've had Costco brand liquor on this podcast, and we've had $100 bottle of wine on this podcast. We
don't discriminate.
Yeah,
you're all over the spectrum.
Yeah,
I can do that. I mean, it's 2 p.m. but I can do some more.
2 p.m. on lockdown though, right? So.
Very true.
There's coffee hour and then there's booze hour. Gets fuzzier every day.
I heard a thing that was like under quarantine, it's airport rules, so you can drink at 8 a.m. and that's fine.
Oh, that's actually a funny way to put it. I like that.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna booze this up right here.
For sure.
Let's see what happens if I can open it. So I'm gonna probably bottle. Can I curse? Sorry.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, more. Yeah, you can say whatever you want.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah, last episode I was talking about snorting amphetamines off a girl's ass in a rave. So. Yeah.
This is my people.
Exactly. Well.
Okay.
So what are you drinking?
I got a fat tire right here.
Cheers.
As you may see.
Virtual cheers. Socially acceptable cheers.
Social distance cheers.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I think like what we want to talk about with you, because you're obviously an expert, is kind of the because this first and foremost is a business podcast. We both started businesses when we were pretty young. We both I just turned 24. You're also 24, right?
Yeah.
So we both, I'm in the wine business, he's in real estate. We're both, business owners, and we're both kind of, or I am at least, fascinated by the business side of YouTube specifically, because that's a really new thing, right? Like an individual with a camera in their house could never make money on media,
And get medallions like you've got in the back there, the YouTube.
I didn't mean to flex on you guys, but
No,
first thing I noticed next to the bar fridge, it looks like mine.
So yeah, I mean, like it's kind of insane, like even to think about, like even 10 years ago, to think about that you could make an entire career off of, by yourself with no crew, with no, backing, with no anything. It's just, post stuff and get views and make money, right?
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. We're just kind of free forming about it, but I get okay. So you're definitely, I think, the undisputed king of sponsorships. I think you're one of the only YouTubers that like I don't skip the sponsored parts, because like you make entertaining ass sponsorships every time. He did one for Fleshlight. That was pretty good. That's the one that sticks out in my mind. But can you talk about? You don't have to get into actual numbers if you don't want to, but I know that like AdSense revenue, I think for everybody, has been down over the last 2-3 years, and I think that do you make more money off sponsorships than you do off like ad revenue?
It depends.
Yeah.
If like the majority, let's say I upload, if every upload in a month is sponsored, chances are I blow my AdSense out of the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because especially like you probably, or I don't know about anymore, but you definitely made a lot of content that got demonetized back in the day. Like I know like all the Predator Chronicles are now they're on your second channel, but they're demonetized.
That's exactly why. Like if I have a string of videos that get demonetized and make jack shit, well then yeah, obviously my sponsors are gonna blow my AdSense out of the water, because then I don't make anything.
Well, that's scary in a lot of ways, to like that your income is very
you're at the mercy of an AI almost.
Yeah, like your income is based on whatever the fuck YouTube deems advertiser friendly and whatnot, right?
Well, yeah, that's why the sponsors are so damn important. That's why no matter as much as people want to like meme the sponsors or some shit, or say, or call people sellouts or whatever the fuck, it's like, dude, sponsors are vital to YouTube. If we didn't have them, your favorite YouTuber might be living check to check. Your favorite YouTuber might not even have the time. Might just be working full time and not even have time to work on videos like that.
Yeah, and
thankfully, I'm blessed enough to be working full time as a YouTuber, and that's in big part to sponsors.
Yeah, and people would be complaining either way, right? Because they complain because you have sponsors, but then if you're only uploading one video a month, then they're complaining that you don't fucking enough content, right?
Facts, yeah. I mean, that's why I try to make the sponsorship segments fun, just so make it like, hey, it's like another part of the video. It's like a skit. Hopefully, you enjoy this too, and at the same time, I can make my sponsor happy because they know I'm representing them well.
Well, don't worry. I have Raid Shadow Legends on 7 different phones.
That's my guy. You're that Raid?
Yeah.
You're that Raid?
Yeah.
I'll see you later this month, hopefully.
Do you get like referral commissions, or do you just get like lump sums up front? I've always wondered about that.
Do I get what? Sorry.
Do you get a lump sum, or do you get referral commissions?
There's a lot of different ways. It varies from sponsor to sponsor a lot of times. Usually I try to work with lump sums because it's just
Simple.
Paycheck.
I guess. Yeah, and then sometimes it's maybe the amount of views you get on a video. Sometimes it's the amount of installs you get for something. It depends on the sponsor, really, and just however they're feeling at that time too.
Yeah, because I guess that's no different than like I'm in a product-based business and I deal on this exclusively in wholesale. So like I sell wholesale for a lower price rather than selling on consignment where you give them the product and they give you money per product they sell. I deal on wholesale, so I sell you this much wine at this price, and then they upsell it and resell it. So I get a big paycheck right off the bat. I prefer
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, because then I can use that money to invest and make more money rather than waiting for every bottle to sell, right? Same kind of idea.
So I'm pretty uninitiated, obviously, to your brand, your channel. I usually consume a slightly different content. I'm more of a car guy. So I'm like, most of my YouTube is consumed with like either Red Bull, like extreme sports, or like cars and stuff like that. So we're very different in that way. But just as someone cold, not introduced to your channel at all, like what I'm interested in is because I'm going through this with a business I'm consulting on right now. They want to get YouTube famous, or not just YouTube famous. They want to get internet famous for sharing their content because they built a real estate company really fast, went from like zero to hero, like from dead stock, working a job, rocking heavy equipment to, a company making multi seven-figure income, 20 employees, working in 2 countries. Like, this guy wants to leverage that fame, get it online. And I always get hung up on the people that want to just get popular and get seen. And that's not why we started this podcast. We started this because we're all about documentation. We like Gary Vee. We're like, hey, let's document what we're thinking, what we're feeling, especially in crazy times like this. Like, your memory is so unreliable. 20 years from now, you're like, hey, what was I saying? What was I thinking? And it'll be easy to say, you know what? I handled myself super well. I was chill. I made all the right decisions. You tell your grandkids that, but we want to document how we're making these decisions and things like that. So I guess why did you start filming yourself? Like, was it for you? Was it for somebody? Like, do you film for a purpose outside of just like revenue? Obviously you do, but like, what drives you?
I think I just noticed that I was really drawn to videos, video production, pretty much everything that surrounded it. I always had like a really creative side to me.
Yeah.
I've always kind of noticed like whenever there was creative assignments in school, that's where I would shine.
Yeah.
It's like that was just my shit. So when I was going through school and I went to college, I just noticed this wasn't really like I wasn't drawn to any of this shit. Anything that I was going through, I always would make videos on the side for fun, for friends. I would always want to edit for people. And then that's when I just decided, okay, fuck it, let me actually try this, because I watched a lot of YouTube. I saw people had success in it. I was like, maybe I could be one of these guys. And just started making videos as much as I could with having a full-time job at the time. And
what was that moment when you're like, this is good? Do you have a video? Do you have like a specific time when you started, the momentum started to feel good?
Oh, yes. It must have been Predator Chronicle.
Okay.
I believe it was the second episode I did of that. I got found by like the To Catch a Predator community online.
Yeah.
We were like really crazy about this shit.
Yeah.
And they started spreading my video in the community, and then I noticed like my video like broke 100 views.
Yeah.
It was like climbing, and to me, I was like, holy shit, I need to get out with more episodes quick. So I just started busting ass and bringing out episodes as fast as I could. That's when I noticed like there's something here.
Well, I'll rewatch those videos every so often, just like in the background while I'm doing something, and it's crazy. There's like one episode where you're like, "Thanks, guys, I just broke like 500 subscribers or 1,000 subscribers or something like that." And it's like, Jesus Christ, like looking at you now, like I feel like that wasn't very long ago, right?
It doesn't feel very long ago, but I mean, what, like 3 years maybe?
Yeah.
I think so.
Thousands of hours ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I mean, like people say that about me as well. Like my business is 3.5 years old, and we did like 70,000 year one, 160 year two, 270 last year. And we're gonna do like 350 this year. So in my mind, it's like I've been doing this fucking forever. Like it was a lifetime ago that I was.
It's a snail's pace.
Yeah, but you know, in realistic like business terms, I mean, like you know, us doing this crap for 4 years, I mean, isn't very long in the grand scheme of things, right? Like, which is interesting. But
So yeah, we're watching that Pong.
bad content, Pong.
Bad content Pong video just right before we got on the call, and I think one of the things we love to talk about is like what pisses you off about your industry. Because me and Willow spend most of our time, like we do this podcast just to like bitch at each other about stuff that just annoys us every day. He's got, so for context, we're in Manitoba here. Where are you from, by the way?
I'm from Illinois.
Illinois. Okay, cool. So the business I work in, we work primarily in Ohio, but I'm from Manitoba, Canada, and that is it's one of the highest taxed provinces or places in the world as far as like an individual and a consumer and a business. And in addition to that, the liquor industry is also taxed. And for Willows, up front, off of the money that he makes, the government takes like half, just off the front, and then you get taxed on the remainder. So it's brutal. So liquor here is super expensive. So he's got plenty to complain about.
Yeah, we started this podcast because we were just getting drunk and talking business and bitching anyway. So I'm like, oh, it's just like this might be useful for people.
Yeah, and our friends are like, hey, this is great. Like we should record this.
Yeah.
And I'm in real estate, which is also known as the human nature business. So I see the most. I see depravity, I see the best, I see the worst, I see the funny, I see the stupid, I deal with government, like all these ridiculous things, so I've got plenty to bitch about as well. So, I mean, right now, Ohio's like shut down, and on the best of days, getting a permit through the city council is like, it's like pulling teeth. You gotta show up, you gotta yell at people sometimes, and yeah, like what's pissing you off about YouTube right now? Like with yeah, it takes this swing.
YouTube. You know, it's just I feel like YouTube gets a lot of shit. I like YouTube for the majority, just because of what they've given me. Maybe I feel like I'm indebted to them. But the demonetization thing is a real bitch because it's just so inconsistent. I don't know how much you guys have heard about what you can and can't do, what'll get you demonetized on YouTube and stuff like that.
I'm pretty familiar. Tyler's less familiar, I think.
Yeah, people will put out guidelines and whatnot, but it's like, I don't know if it's because I'm not that big of a YouTuber, I guess, like the million subs guys, but there's times where I put out something that should not be monetized, but it gets monetized. And that sounds like a stupid thing to complain about, because obviously it's getting monetized, that's awesome, but it's just not consistent whatsoever.
Yeah. I feel the same way with the government in liquor regulation because they fucking make calls all the time that are like, I apply for permits that I think I'm not going to get and I get them, and I apply for ones I think I'm going to get and I don't. Like, just tell me what I can and can't do, and it'll make everything easier. Like,
and he's got a charter of laws and stuff, and they violate it themselves just because they're too lazy to go and look back at the books.
Yeah.
Like, they break their own laws. But there's nothing you can do about it because if you take them to court, they are the monopoly and they can just delist your products and you're fucked. Like, it's the same kind of idea where he deals with an absolute monopoly of where all of his product is sold.
Same way you deal with just YouTube is kind of your god, right? Like, if you piss off Susan, you might end up unemployed.
Yeah. I think censorship is getting a little bit crazy. I follow Anonymous on Twitter. Do you like the Anonymous guys? Like the hacking group?
I don't follow them, but I'm aware of them,
yeah. Yeah, so they were getting censored like crazy in the beginning of this COVID thing. Like they got what they call shadow banned. So even though I had like post notifications turned on, I don't follow very many people on Twitter, but like they're like the main guys that I watch, especially for news and different things like that. And none of their stuff was coming up for like 2 weeks. And they got straight up shadow banned. And because Twitter's getting pressured, now they fired Jack Dorsey. Have they fired him or they're going to fire him?
They fired him?
Well, okay,
or they're trying to fire him.
It's kind of
It's like a hostile takeover.
We don't know exactly what's happening. He announced recently that he's like, I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to use $1 billion of my money to make a charity specifically for like COVID relief. And then once COVID's cured, then we're going to go into like educating women in poor countries, whatever. So he put out this press release. He's like, it's like, okay, great, you're doing charity work, but then at the same time, there's this other company that's like hostile takeovering, and there's a couple conspiracy theories that are like, yeah, he's getting forced out, and they're letting him save face by be like, no, I'm just going to do charity, bye, and then. But meanwhile, that's not what's happening.
Yeah, like it's a very like partisan friendly group. Like they specifically back one party, and they're now forcing Jack out to put in policies that's going to support one party over the other with the next election, which is kind of crazy. So now you have the wins of the Republicans and the Democrats influencing Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about like because like I'm pretty libertarian in general, and like I kind of at the end of the day I'm like YouTube can kind of do whatever they want because they're a private business. Like where are you with that kind of thought?
Responsibility versus we make profit.
With what? Sorry, I don't think I understand the question.
Okay, like YouTube, because like a lot of people like if YouTube like bans somebody or whatever, people scream like censorship and Second Amendment stuff. But like at the end of the day, they're a private business and a private company. They should be able to ban anyone off their platform if they want to. Do you subscribe to that idea?
I would never want to see YouTube play any type of favoritism in a way, or
They definitely do.
really like. I mean, they do. They 100% do. But I just wouldn't want to encourage that idea where it's like, okay, they think this person's bad, so they want to get rid of them.
Yeah.
You know, they could just be like, there's some controversial YouTuber who just, says his own opinions, but they're like, you know what, I don't like what you're saying. It's not very much our ideas, so let's get you off this platform. Let's make your video seem less like, I hate that idea.
Yeah.
Regardless if I disagree with that person or not.
Yeah. Because, it's a hard, because you want them, if they're displaying themselves as like a media platform where people can like, in theory, they don't speak for YouTubers that upload stuff. Like if I upload something controversial, YouTube shouldn't speak for me. Like that's not their opinion. That's my opinion as an uploader, right? Yeah. So I want to talk about kind of like, do you find you have to, so marketing wise in videos, like, I know you're a psychology major, just about.
No, that's very, very.
Do you?
No.
Yeah. But do you think there's a lot of consumer psychology, but behind like getting views on YouTube?
In a way, yeah, I would say so.
Do you think about it?
Or do you just kind of upload and it happens?
It's so. Even if you did, honestly, getting views on YouTube a lot of the times it's a fucking toss up.
Yeah.
You know, whenever small YouTubers ask me like, hey dude, how do I grow my channel? How do I do this? Like, there's a lot of luck that goes with this shit. I can tell you all the right things to do. I still don't know if it's gonna pop like that. You know?
Yeah.
So all I can tell you is, do your best and be ready for when that opportunity comes.
Yeah.
If the algorithm decides to bless you and puts you in front of a bunch of eyes, you better hope that shit's good, because then from there you're good.
And I guess that's kind of what you were talking about with like the Predator Chronicles. When you started seeing that specifically pop off, you're like, okay, let's double down, pump out a bunch of these.
Exactly. Yeah. So I tried to put out this product that I thought was good. No one's really looking at it, but then as soon as I got eyes on it, it's like, okay, get this shit out of here.
Yeah.
So, like you said, double down on what works.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be careful of those guys that say they got to figure out, like, do these 5 things to get famous on YouTube. Fucking love those guys.
The guys who try to give you tips?
Yeah, the team.
Yeah, no, I think people read into those a lot and think like that's foolproof. That's going to work no matter what.
Buy my course to get famous.
Well, yeah, we always talk about like, there's that old saying that is bullshit, but I used to believe when I was younger, is like, say what they say, do what they do, you'll get what they get. But the difference is like you have to say what they say and get what they get, and do what they do at the same time. Like you're never gonna replicate, 2016 MistaGG videos. Like because if I do what you did now, it's not gonna be the same thing 4 years later, right? So I think there's a lot of like, well, just copy what they do, and obviously you'll get what they get. But
do your own fucking thing.
Yeah. Well, especially on the internet, fucking shit changes so fast, right? Like every, a day in internet time is a month in regular time, right? Like.
So other platforms. Do you use anything else? Any other platforms to push your brand? Like specifically, I'm thinking about right now. I don't know if you subscribe to these theories, but TikTok and how it's literally owned by the Chinese government. But it's super popular. It's a fun platform, right? It's doing really well. People are doing really well on it, and there's like a whole culture around it. Like, are you working on any stuff like that, or do you just kind of stay the course?
It's stuff that's always in the back of my mind because as a content creator, you have to be on everything.
Yeah.
You have to be in people's faces. And I personally don't like doing that. Yeah. That's not me normally, right? I don't like to push myself on every platform like
Logan Paul.
That's what you have to do. You have to go on Instagram and you have to post something on Instagram fucking every day. You have to make tweets every day. You have to post Snapchat stories every day. You have to make TikToks about whatever the fuck as much as you can. And because you have to be in people's faces. It's so people forget about you.
Yeah.
Unless your content can really speak for itself, and your sub base is really dedicated like that, it's fragile, dude.
Yeah, because I guess like the people that come to my mind, right off the bat, like Colossal is crazy, and like even like YMS, like they post content very infrequently, but still have get 1 million views on a video and still have like a very very dedicated fan base, but post very infrequently. And then you go on the other side, like the Pauls and whoever else, like all the Viners that post multiple times a day and et cetera, et cetera. So there's like kind of two different sides of the business that of content. Like, what do you think versus like quality versus quantity as far as YouTube videos go?
For you.
Like, would you rather post more video? Do you think you'll do better posting more videos more frequently that have less effort in them, or spend a month doing one video and put more effort into it?
Quality wins in my eyes, at least for the fan base I would want, I guess. Like quantity-wise, there's a way you could not cheat the system, but if I really wanted to, I could upload a shit ton more.
Yeah.
If the videos didn't have what I put into them right now, and you know what, I could probably get a lot more videos monetized. I could probably make more money. I could get more sponsors. But I don't want to do that because then now my content is this.
Yeah.
It's a flat line. And that's all it's going to be. I want there to be as much potential as possible with every upload I do. I want it to be fucking great. I want to keep getting better. I don't want to just be like, oh, I'm going to ride this wave until fucking everybody forgets about me 2 years later. And now I'm one of those channels that has like 1 million subs, but I'm getting 30,000 views a video.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's such a weird, like, even more fickle than like selling products, right? Like, or even anything, because like views on YouTube, like there's random videos that have nothing to do with anything that get millions of views. People always talk about the those like kids channels that do like those like Johnny animation videos. They get like literally 1 billion views on YouTube. Like it's. Train.
Sorry, you guys hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got headphones on. You can't hear. It's fine. It's faint.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's fine.
Shit over here. My bad.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's weird because like at least like if it's like okay, I have a slow month. I need to make more money. I can like go out myself and go to an event and like sell a bottle, like sample people and sell more. But you can't really like. You can post more, but you can't really like get more people to watch your video.
You can engage more.
Yeah, I guess.
Reach out more, talk more.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we got all excited. Sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry. I was just gonna say like engaging. Like I love to keep my fans engaged as much as possible. I try to reply to as much message as I can. I try to keep an eye on the comments so people don't think like I just upload and fucking vamoose.
Yeah.
Like I try to let the people know like I'm still here as much as I can be. It's gotten harder as the numbers have grown.
Of course.
But I think I just want to, the people that are watching my stuff, I just want to like, if I can give you some sort of acknowledgement or let you know that, I appreciate the support in any kind of way, I think that's important because now your fan base is a little less, like you said, fickle, I guess, in a way.
Yeah. Well, you've definitely replied. No, no worries. You've definitely replied to a few of my tweets over the years. I get that it also helps that you're not verified on Twitter, so like you see our notifications. But I know a lot of like YouTubers that are verified, they just hide in the verified tab and don't see any of their fans' tweets or whatever. Yeah. I don't know if you remember this. I tweeted a picture of you with a mustache, and I said, "I'm going to tell my kids this is no googly Emmy."
You said what? Sorry.
I tweeted a picture of you with a mustache, and I said, "I'm going to tell my kids this is no googly Emmy."
Honestly, that sounds familiar, and that sounds like something I would.
Okay, I tweeted that at you, and you retweeted it. It got a fuck ton of attention. Fucking no googly Emmy retweeted it.
Shut up! No,
yeah, no, I swear to God, I checked the profile to make sure it was real, and it 100% was.
Really?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
He retweeted. I don't know if he was kidding, but he retweeted. He's like, "What the fuck?" Like,
no googly Emmy is awesome. Dude, I have to find that tweet. That's still up.
Yeah, I tweeted at you and you retweeted it, and it got like a pretty good attention for my. I don't get any fucking attention on my tweets, so it was funny. But yeah, I remember getting a notification. And it was like no googling. I mean, I'm like, is this a fake account, like a fan account? I went into it. No, it was 100% real.
No, such a fucking boss, dude.
What's up, fool?
That guy. That guy's the best. He's on Cameo now. I remember I booked the Cameo from him ASAP because he's so cheap too. He's $10. He's really underselling himself, honestly. But that guy's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty good. That was pretty funny. Yeah, like and like I like about your content. Like I feel like people like let's say like a Phil DeFranco is kind of like he has to make his news content and that's all he can do. But I feel like your content in a lot of ways you kind of make what you feel like doing. Like you upload a movie review, you upload a commentary thing, you upload a drama thing, you upload a whatever, and you kind of have more leniency. Like you're not kind of typecast into a certain way. Mm-hmm. Do you think that helps you, or do you think that hurts you in overall like YouTube growth?
It definitely, that's a great question. I feel like it's not one way. I feel like, because I could think, okay, if I stuck with the same shit, then YouTube knows what to expect from me, and so does my audience.
Yeah.
And so I build on that. Or it goes the other way, where I'm so all over the fucking place, now I can attract as many eyes as possible, maybe bring them in, and now they look at my other stuff, and they're like, oh, I kind of like this random shit too. Or they only like one specific series, and that's all they watch when I upload. I feel like I like the way I do it right now. I don't want to just fucking be one thing. I want to do as much as, well, like you said, whatever the fuck I want. If I can make it a good video, why not?
Yeah, well, that's what attracted me to your content. Was I came in for watching new movie reviews. I'm like, oh, here's all this other shit that I'm interested in. But then I could also see a lot of viewers be like, okay, I watch Phil DeFranco for the news. And they'll be like, okay, I watch MistaGG for the Predator Chronicles. And then when you do something that's not that, they're like, okay, well, I'm not interested anymore. But I think that's that's almost like a TV thought. You know what I mean? Like, I watch this for the show.
I got fucking shiny thing syndrome, man.
Like
YouTube wormhole, man. You just start with one video and you end up watching like cats doing some shit you never seen before. Mm-hmm. Like cats on LSD back in '76, like that. Like that's where I usually go on YouTube. But oh man, we were all amped up to do some new stuff this year because me and Willows here went to Mexico on a trip together. It's my first tropical vacation. He hasn't been in forever.
It was my first trip with like friends and not family.
Yeah, and first vacation that he's taken in since he started the business. But yeah, we're like, we got to get out more. We're going to socialize more. We're going to start this. We're going to restart this networking group. It's this young entrepreneur society in our local area here that did pretty well. It's got like 10,000 followers or something like that. And it really popped off. And it's how we got introduced to each other and how like everything that we've started came from that group. And we're like, man, this was a really good thing, but we don't do any of the stuff anymore that we used to love. So let's get that restarted. And then the universe is like, no, fuck you. You're going to sit in your house for 3 months.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that's really put a fucking damper on it. But, yeah, I mean, like, with all this pandemic crap going on, like, has it putting a damper on your life? Like, how are you feeling? Like, just temperature check, as some guys are saying. Like, how are you coping with it?
It's weird, dude. Honestly, like as of late with my videos and stuff, they've been doing fucking amazing.
Yeah,
for my,
makes sense.
For me, obviously. And I don't know if I can credit that to quarantine because everyone's just home. So everyone's like, fuck it, we're just watching videos. That's all we're doing.
Sure helps.
Like, I can't tell if, like, okay, maybe these videos were different or maybe just everyone's fucking just binge watching right now.
Yeah.
But, even though that's happening, which is amazing, it feels weird working right now. I feel very discombobulated in a way. Like, it's weird just continuing to work normally when you're constantly watching the news, you're seeing headlines. There's a fucking pandemic right outside your door. It's just like, it fucks with you in a way. Like, it's messed up my groove big time.
Yeah, but it's like an invisible war. That's the worst part. Like, you don't get to see anything. You just watch the news in terror, and you just have this, like, constant anxiety that just, like, goes up every day, especially with the fucking president that you guys have got. Like, I mean, at least our prime minister gets on the TV, and he's, like, level, and he's even, and, like, you can tell he's isolated. He's in his house alone with his wife. He's not on a stage. Like, most of the reporters are calling in. There's no crowds. Like, it's super, like, it's calm. It's calming. It's very scientific. And then I watch American news, and Trump's like, take this drug, you'll be fucking fine. It's like, we're opening back up in 3 weeks. I love it, but like, man, you guys have it.
It's rough. It's rough, especially like being in Illinois, like earlier when this all started. Like, one of the headlines was Chicago not abiding by social distancing and staying home, and they were fucking going to bars and doing whatever. Yeah. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, now
don't do this in my state. Stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing pretty good in Manitoba specifically. Well. We're beating the rest of the country, but we locked down pretty quickly. Like, we pretty much, like, my industry, like, I'm in the bar and restaurant industry. Obviously, we all kind of closed without an order to close. Like, everyone just kind of voluntarily closed their doors pretty early on, which was nice. And now we're forced to close a couple weeks later. But it was like everyone's like, yeah, like, let's not do this, and just kind of. So we're pretty good. We're a province of 1 million people, and we have like 250 infections. So
to me, that sounds like great numbers.
And
it's good.
It's been declining for the last 5 days straight. So we're like our total number of active cases is going down. So, like, yeah, this might actually be over within the month. So, well, for us,
I don't think so, but yeah.
But it's obviously not a perfect scenario. But yeah, they're like, yeah, it could be reasonably contained within the month. But everyone else is doing poorly. Illinois is not doing great. New York's not doing great. Washington's doing better. But
are you worried about this?
Am I worried about it?
Yeah.
I try not to. I just kind of think, like, this will pass. It's going to take a lot of time. But at the same time, like, I don't know, it just doesn't, maybe I don't have enough information about it. It just doesn't make sense in my head. Like, okay, once you tell everybody that you're not under quarantine anymore, you're not under lockdown, it's like the streets are going to be flooded, but there's still active cases. Like, that part doesn't make sense in my head. That's what worries me, that we're going to get, like, a second round, kind of like China did, I believe.
That's what they're saying is going to happen. So, yeah, it is what it is.
I'm trying to buy a business right now that's like strictly like events tourism based, and it does fantastically well, but this is obviously unprecedented territory. So they're saying, like, the last things to recover might be social gatherings, events, and like event centers being closed for like as long as like 18 months. And
that's what I saw,
yeah, nightclubs are already going bankrupt in month 2. Like, there's, I got an investor friend, within the first 2 weeks before the mandatory lockdowns already came in, he had 3 restaurants come to him asking for bailout money. So he's already gone in for bailouts on a couple of places, and he's like, man, everything's going to go up for sale. They're saying like 30-40% of bars and restaurants are going to close permanently. Like,
Yeah.
man, think about your favorite pub going away. Like that's what's scary to me. Like these fucking landlords, man, like being on the landlord's side. Yeah, I've got a bit of a unique perspective into that. Most of my clients are all international. So they're all like France, Israel, and England. So those are most of my clients. And you'd think Buddy with $10 million would have a pretty even temperament when it comes to problems, right? You would be shocked at the immature behavior of these people where they're like, you mean all my tenants are unemployed? The state is locked down, nobody can do anything, and they're not paying rent? What the fuck is wrong with you? Collect my rent. And I'm like, I can't. Also, the courts are closed. I can't evict anybody. And also, my staff is home because they're scared of getting sick. But he can't process. Cannot understand the fact that his money is not coming in today. Loses his mind, says, throw everybody out, change the locks. I'm like, that's illegal. He's like, I don't care. And I'm like, we're not in Israel. He's like, I don't care. It's like, I have these battles, and there's so little empathy from some of these people because they're just as scared as you are.
Yeah.
Like, they're not bad people. They're just fucking terrified because they put their life savings into this thing. Like, that's what I'm scared of, is the utter panic from the people that really have something to lose. If you just lost your job and now you're on like EI or you're on this like, national benefit, like what did you lose? You're just staying at home now. You're not making any more or less money.
Right.
But, Buddy who makes 400 grand a year now makes 30 on this benefit. He's fucked. So like this is going to be really, really crazy time. That's what terrifies me about this thing. But also super exciting because I'm 24 years old and like we're gonna pick some stuff up here and get some discount real estate. But yeah, I don't know. It's unprecedented, and I just sit at home anxious and stressed about like how do I take advantage, right? But also sitting at home and realizing I can't do shit at the same time. So just,
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are trying to do nowadays too.
Yeah. Take advantage.
Maybe get some stuff off the ground that they couldn't do before. Now that they have the time. Like, especially with like my industry, YouTubers and streamers and shit.
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to do that right now.
Yeah.
Which
is like I know our telecom service, our internet provider here released a statement. They're like, yeah, we're having some like speed issues because like
everyone's online.
Netflix streaming is up 70% and like our servers can't handle it. Like it's interesting. Like, do you do any like live streaming?
I haven't gotten into live streaming as much as I want to, but in the near future, yes. I want to.
I know a lot of YouTubers started doing that and they see pretty good numbers on Twitch versus YouTube, and like the whole live donation thing and stuff. I think that kind of encourages people to. Like I've heard from people, like they would rather, donate on a live stream and get a live shout out rather than like donate to a Patreon. Like they would donate the same amount of money, but they would rather do it on stream.
It's that instant acknowledgement. It's like it seems real, like you're talking to a person. Like they say, like just having someone say your name. I know this because I felt it as someone else.
Yeah.
And someone just being like, "Hey Jeffrey, appreciate those 5." Like just that sentence alone is like, "Oh shit, he saw my donation, dude. That's awesome."
So where
it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, someone would donate you $5 a month on Patreon. Now, if you're doing 5 streams a month, they're donating you $5 every stream, and then now all of a sudden it's like your income is better. Because I know people that are like, oh yeah, I upload twice a month to YouTube, but I stream 6 times a week because that's that's where their income is, which is an interesting.
If your stream is good enough too, or like if people just like your stream in general. The cool thing is, for like the bigger streamers at least, they just hire an editor, and they can just get out as much YouTube content as they do streaming wise, and still get those same numbers because people want to watch you no matter what.
Yeah, because I know like YMS does that on his gaming channel. He'll stream for 5 hours, and then his editor cut them up into 20-minute videos.
Yeah, those videos are great. I love watching this stuff.
Yeah, exactly, right? So, but then he's getting the same amount of views he would if he's putting out 5 videos a week, rather than like his, his YMS videos that take months to create, right?
Exactly.
So, yeah. It's such a, like, we still, even the people that are YouTubers still don't know everything about YouTube because it's such a new, like, I'm sure people will be able to write books 100 years from now, like how people made money on early streaming and YouTube.
There'll be a case study in business school on MistaGG. Like, that would be awesome. You should just give a talk. You should reach out to a business school and give a talk. That'd be hilarious. But also probably a really good idea because they're trying so hard to be relevant because they're becoming irrelevant so quickly by some Indian guy on YouTube explaining it better. But yeah, that's a real threat. We got about 5 minutes left. We're at that point. So, yeah, I mean, you said you're on like just a podcast binge today, just guests speaking on a bunch of people's stuff. And like, what made you do that? Have you done this before?
No, I've usually declined podcasts. When people ask me,
enough.
it didn't really matter the size to me. It's just like, hey, you want to do it? I would usually just decline. And just because I was like, I don't really have the time, whatever. And I had never done too many podcasts, so I was just like, whatever, it's not a big deal. But I've been thinking about it for a while now. Like, I just want to not like satisfy all these people, I guess, but it's just like it'd be fun to do this as an interaction with the fans, because I know that's for the majority. That's what the people that are going to be reaching out to me are.
Yeah.
So you know what? All the podcasts, doesn't matter the size. Hit me up, have me on. Let's just do it at this time, especially when we're all fucking home.
Yeah.
Let's shoot the shit, And it sounded like a fun idea to me, so I want to do it. I'm glad I have. It's been fun so far.
You gonna start your own podcast? Film it, put it up on YouTube.
That might be a good next step after this.
I mean, exposure on stuff like Spotify, Stitcher, and Google Podcasts, everything like that. Like, I mean, exposure is pretty good. So,
no, it would be fun. I've given it a lot of thought over my whole time on YouTube. I just need to think of the perfect way I would want it. It's like, how many people do I want on the podcast? Do I want to be cycling in guests constantly? Like what do I want it to be? Like 2 people only or 3 people? Because I couldn't do solo. I don't think I'm that talented.
Yeah, the only solo podcast that works that I've listened to is like Bill Burr's podcast. Where
Bill's fucking amazing.
I don't know how that fucking guy is funny by himself.
Monologues.
Like, and he's like, oh sorry, I gotta be quiet, my family's sleeping. And he's like still funny.
I know.
And then you the big ones are like Joe Rogan, like where he relies on having a guest. It's never just him talking, right?
Yeah.
And then how we do ours is just us. I guess you're the first guest that we've ever had on. I wanted to wait a while, but you can't pass up an opportunity, obviously. So, but we just kind of talk between the 2 of us, and I guess like Sardonicast, like YMS's podcast does that, where it's just the 3 of them talking, but then they have guests on every few episodes or whatever, but it doesn't rely on guests.
Yeah.
Which probably I would say, especially for a small podcast, I think not relying on guests is better, because at the end, like, I have a friend that I've been on his podcast like 6 times because he can't get enough guests to come on his podcast.
Yeah, he's got no leverage.
It's a small podcast and no one wants to come on the podcast. So I've been on like 20 times because he's like, I don't have anyone this week. Like, come on. So if you're not relying on guests, then you can put out content, whenever you need to.
Yeah, I feel like it's good not to rely on guys, because you just really work on that chemistry between, your regular host on the podcast, and I feel like that just makes your podcast all much better, especially when guests do come on.
Yeah, because then it's kind of adding a new, a new thing with the podcast that's not the usual. Like it seems like it's an actual event or like a new piece of content when you have a guest.
Yeah,
exactly.
And we're not journalists, so.
Yeah.
So last question here. What kind of content do you like to consume on your own? Like, what do you watch? What do you enjoy when no one's looking, kind of thing?
Honestly, what I make is what I like to do. And I think I've kind of always stood by, I want to make what I want. If I don't want to watch my own content, or if I don't like my own content, what the fuck am I making for?
Yeah.
So kind of whatever you see on my channel is really what I like to see. I don't really differentiate from that too much.
Yeah, that's pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Like I always try to put out content. Like aside from the podcast, I do have a few YouTube videos on my channel that are just like me kind of ranting about topics that I care about. And yeah, it's just like I care about this topic. I'm passionate about it, so I want to put that out, and that's pretty much what we do on the podcast too, right? Right?
Yeah, be fucking real.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Well, I think we gotta let you go, man. You got your next podcast coming up.
Yeah, I got to get it going, boys. But I really appreciate you guys having me on. You got a good thing going here. Congrats on all your success also.
Yeah,
That's awesome. You guys are younger than me, killing it out there. So.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm a big fan. So this is like, I honestly, he can attest. I was nervous like right up until we started talking. I'm like, man, this is like.
You started drinking like 2 hours ago.
I'm like, this is
like I got this.
Well, yeah, I don't know. It's weird because it's like seeing you. Not, I don't want to be like, oh, you're on a pedestal, but it's like seeing you kind of as this like, celebrity in a way, right? And it's like I'm a fan of. It's like it's cool. But as soon as we started talking, I felt good over there.
We appreciate it.
That's good. No, I appreciate you guys having me on. That's fun.
Yeah, sounds good. I guess it's what's your social media handles just so people can find you up there?
Social media, MistaGG on everything. Kind of, maybe. You'll find it if you search it. I don't want to give you exact tags because like fucking someone on Twitter stole my hat name, but that's fine. Yeah, just MistaGG search it.
And if you're coming here for GG, we're Alcohol Beyond This Point is the name of the podcast. We're Alcohol Beyond This Point on Instagram and Alcohol Beyond This Point podcast on Facebook. Vote Willows is my handle, VOTEWILOWS. My name is Willows. This is Tyler.
Yeah, mine is just Tyler _builder because I like to build shit. That's about it.
And yeah, I guess can I get a buff before you go?
Alright, I can give you alright, thank you guys for watching this. It's awesome. Got you. See you guys.
My heart. Thanks, GG, I appreciate it.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.